take us to Tennessee to the feed Mustang. Make sure you before you
True Street Drive underway. Ready for this shit? Oh yeah.
What's going on, guys? We went to Bowling Green to run the True Street class in NMRA last month. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Didn't really go perfectly as planned, but street driving did okay. The car went a 1.560 foot, rolling into it, leaving off idle. You'll see that in the video at the end. Went 660 to the 8th mile and went 1082 to the quarter. Now what you're going to notice in that video is that I'm running a 2015-2016 Mustang, which is turbo. And when you see his mile per hour and his quarter mile, you'll kind of understand, because I got off the gas before the 8th mile and then coasted a little bit and then got on the brakes and still went at 1082. I think the car would have went at 980, but we was having a fuel pressure issue still. I was losing fuel pressure. I don't know what's going on. We're going to have to dig into it. Let me explain.
Alright, we made it back to the beach bend. 195. I don't know if that means it's getting hot or not, but it is what it is. Hopefully it kills the fuck out. About to go get our other ticket. Go ahead and get it with this final star, and we'll be ready to wait in the lanes over here. Rock and roll. Staging lanes, hoping for the best.
So now what do I think is actually going on with this thing with the fuel pressure? So I think what might be going on right now is that the fuel regulator is the vacuum source, the boost source that goes to the top of the fuel pressure regulator. When it's blowing air in, when it's in boost, what I feel like is happening is that there's a diaphragm inside the fuel pressure regulator, and I think what's happening is there might be a hole or something in there, or something's just not acting right, and then what happens is the pressure goes on top of it and it's leaking through that diaphragm, which is causing the regulator not to up the pressure and allow me to get the pressure that I need in the rails. Now this fuel regulator has had a lot of talk on Facebook lately about issues, the exact same issues that I'm having, so I'm hoping that's what the problem is. So we're going to change that out to a 4 unit. Then I'm going to take the fuel pump out as well and send that to MagnaFuel and let them just double check that over winter and make sure everything's good to go. Now, that brings me to the next thing. Even with all that going on, I felt that the car was not running the way that it should be running. Even though I was on a lackluster tune, I only had like 12 degrees in it on the launch, so I didn't have a whole lot of timing down in the car, down low. I had like 19.5 up top. So I came home and did a compression test. I got ran over to Harbor Freight, grabbed a compression tester, and I began checking the driver's side. And the first hole, it was 120 pounds. And I was like, holy shit, I got a problem. Check the second hole, 120 pounds, 120 pounds, 120 pounds. Everything on this car is between 120 to 125 pounds of pressure. I went and got a snap-on compression tester thinking, something's got to be wrong with this sumbitch, it's not right. It's Harbor Freight, they've had junk before, so maybe it's just junk. Well, the snap-on said the exact same thing. So, in fact, I owe Harbor Freight an apology, because that thing does work just fine. So, this winter what I'm going to do is we're going to pull the engine out of the car. Let me explain this. Okay, so the reason why I want to pull the engine out of this car is because I feel that the rings, since this motor's been in the car for 5 years, I'm sure just go ahead and say that, it doesn't have very many miles on it. It's got less than 5,000 miles on it. Now the top ring on the piston is only 1.2 millimeter. Now typically the rings on these cars are 1.5 top, 1.5 second, and a 3.5 or a 3 millimeter oil ring. Now this has a 1.2 top ring. It's stainless. So I think what's happened is with all the street driving that I've done on the car and the beating on it and all that stuff, that I've lost the sealing capabilities of the top ring. Because whenever I put the rings in, I already went ahead and opened the gap up on them a little bit more than what it needed to be. I think I'm at like 26 thousandths on the top ring and 27 or 26 on the second ring, so they're already big. And I feel that the engine's just not sealing up really well. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this apart. If I can swing it, I'm gonna buy some 11.5-to-1 compression pistons to throw in it. Right now it's 9.5-to-1. But if I can't swing it, then we're just gonna throw it all back together like it is. And just put some new rings in it, new bearings in it, and just check everything out, make sure everything's good. I am going to send the heads off to Slocco. The reason for that is I just want to make sure that there's no valve issues, which I don't think there is a valve issue because I'm having the same compression on every single cylinder. So that tells me that it's more likely a ring problem or something of that nature. We're going to double check the cams and make sure the base circle on the cam isn't holding the valves open on the head, just to make sure that there's no problems there. Because sometimes aftermarket cams, the base circle, which is when the cam is closed and the valves are not open or nothing like that, it's on the bottom of the camshaft, which is the base circle. That sometimes could be bigger or smaller on aftermarket cams versus a stock cam, and that could open the valves a little bit more. And then what we'll have to do there is we'll have to take the latch adjuster and shave a little bit off the latch adjuster to close that gap back up to where it needs to be. I don't think that's the problem because we're running bullet cams, and everybody I've talked to, they've never had an issue with that. So we're going to send the heads off to Slocco. We're going to have them go ahead and put some Manley valves in them, a new valve seats in them, because the 0304 Cobras are known for a problem with the valve seats. And I don't want the exhaust valve seats popping out because that can lead to catastrophic failure, and we don't want a catastrophic failure. I'm also going to go ahead and change the secondary timing chains on this thing for the cams for the AccuFab setup. They're a little bit thicker, a little bit better, beefier setup, so that way I ain't got to worry about snapping those. That's a very common problem on the mod motors, as everybody knows. Now that's all I have in store right now for the winter, because that's all I can really swing price-wise. If I can get rid of it, I got a 3.4 whipple for sale. If I can get that somehow sold, that'd be freaking great. I also got an 80mm turbo and a Holley HP and a bunch of other things for sale. I'd like to get rid of it all. If I can get rid of it, I'm going to put a Gen 5 3-liter on this thing, and then probably go ahead to the 11.5-to-1 compression setup, and then we're going to shoot for that 850 area. And then I'm going to run True Street St. Louis next year, and I'm going to run True Street at Bowling Green, NMRA, and then probably go to NMCA in Indy if Adam, my cousin up north, if he can get his G8 and everything together. If we can get together on that and do that event, that'd be freaking awesome. So me and him have an event to do together. Other than that, I really don't have a whole lot to tell you. There's that the engine had a little bit of an issue. We had a fuel problem, and you'll see the video right now. I'll insert it, and I'll insert some videos of where I did a compression test, so you can check that out. And that's really all I got for you guys. Until next time, we'll talk at you later. Peace.
Serial General Kim coming out Saleen Mustang here, Dana Mill, Dickinson, Tennessee, the 15 Mustang. Make sure you before you leave, you go over and check out the video. Spectator section. Can't miss it. 1016, look at a mile an hour, 145 miles an hour. Dana, we got that 83 107.
Smith's car. Got his 2.9 whipple. So I don't know if it's either a Gen 3 or a Gen 4. Check out them dope ass pair of brakes. Stick Shift Dude over on Instagram.